fashion. Not an obvious subject for academic study, but at St Paul's Catholic College, Fashion Week offers a wealth of cross-curricular opportunities. And the climax, a catwalk fashion show. It's Monday morning at St Paul's Catholic College in Sussex. All week, Year 7s will be learning about fashion and making outfits for a fashion show on Friday. But at the start of the week, some students have a limited view of fashion.
I'm not really interested in fashion, but I wouldn't go out wearing something that would embarrass me.
I'm looking forward to making and designing the clothes. And I don't really know what I'm not looking forward to.
I think fashion is important in some cultures, like Sikhist, because they have to wear their thingies, I forgot what they're called, turbans.
I can't imagine RE being much to do with fashion or tech, because in tech you just make food and do wood, and in RE you just learn about Jesus.
What I really wanted to talk about was desire and aspirations.
To kickstart the week, Malcolm McInnes from the University of Brighton's renowned fashion department is here to inspire the students.
I designed this dress. I wanted to create something that was really quite primitive. And when this dress is worn, these side trains actually move about like this on the catwalk. And it really looks as though it's someone dressed in like a mammal dress, almost whale-like. I've had the most extraordinary experience thanks to this choice I made. And so you may decide to do something like fashion. It's a very exciting profession to be in.
Fashion Week is the inspiration of maths teacher Eleanor Wilkinson.
Fashion is something children think is just clothes. And it's not. It's about music, it's about design, it's about house design, it's about furniture and all these other things. And all of these topics are a good thing to get the children to begin to see the links about the curriculum, because we get a lot of questions: why do I learn maths? Why do I learn this part of maths? Why do I learn science? Why do I have to know this part of science? And by bringing in a subject like fashion and making them begin to see that it can cross the whole curriculum and all jobs, it makes a big difference to them.
OK, so you know that this week is Elizabethan Fashion Week for us in English, because it ties in with what we've been doing with Shakespeare's theatre. So I've got some research tasks for you to do for me today.
Richard Sackville, Earl of Dorset, wore girls' shoes, tights and a skirt and frills.
They plucked all their eyebrows out and then they painted them on with paint.
Most of the things they wear on there, like their makeup, is poisonous.
So then they can die really easily. Then they wear 8 layers of clothes.
8 layers of clothes.
So then they must be really warm.
What did you find out?
That Queen Elizabeth wore, she had 3,000 dresses.
3,000 dresses?
It'd take her over 4 years to wear them.
Next door, another English lesson is about to begin.
Good morrow, good morrow, good morrow. I don't know the afternoon. Good morrow, good morrow. All right, so we're going to explore some of the costumes worn by the Tudor people, OK? We're going to have a look at a scene from a Shakespeare play, and then, in costume, you're going to recreate that scene in groups.
We could have, obviously, Othello, and then Desdemona lying dead, and then Emilia, and looking at her.
Oh, can I be Desdemona?
So you're going to have to work out how you're going to position yourselves.
So you kill me, you got a dagger over me, and I'm like...
Okay, you just get dead on the spot.
Is the Othello's wife, is she rich? Batman, man. I need a rich... Yeah, but I need a rich woman.
Right, OK, well, we've got some dresses that you can have a look at in a minute, OK?
God, it's well heavy.
I'm not sure. Will you fit into this? Hang on. Let me loosen it.
You'd be better off fitting in this one.
That's what I said, but he was dead set on wearing the red and gold one.
Yeah, I'm stuck. It suits you. Midget man.
Oh, don't.
are.
It was a joke, Mike.
There you go. What did you say, Reese?
Men would have dressed like that in plays.
They would. Why would they have dressed like that in plays?
I have no idea, but they would.
They were dames.
Yeah.
They were dames. And why were there no women on the stage?
Women were
They weren't allowed.
They weren't allowed, were they? They weren't allowed. So we're being very true to the conventions of the theatre at the time, aren't we?
It's just going to...
The main aim is, because they've done the research on the costume, is to actually get a feel for what it was like wearing them, to have a look at sort of like the material of the time. So, you know, it would have been sort of like cloth and satin and the velvet, and just to give them an idea of kind of what it was like to actually, you know, put the costume on and to get all the accessories and to be part of it, really. And what I want is those little comments like, oh, it's quite comfortable, oh, it's quite hot, or oh, there's a lot of things to put on. You ready, guys?
Yeah, I'll hold you.
That's it, Ellen. Ellen. That's very good. Yes! Very good.
In Shakespeare play, I think it would be quite fun because you get to dress up. Oh, if you like dressing up in clothes, it would be quite fun to dress up in loads of different clothes and like almost go back into the past.
We're on Fashion Week now, and last week we started the components for our fashion creation. And I'm just going to briefly remind you that we're trying to make some cardboard patterns based on Hunter Vassar's complementary colours, and then we're going to sew them together today. So we've got the idea of the samurai warrior with his sort of like interlocking sort of faceted clothes, and then we've got the 60s clothes as well. Now, you've got to come up with some ideas in groups and teams how we can make them join. What are some of the key elements about Hunter Vassar's style? What didn't he like?
Straight lines.
Straight lines, exactly. What's another element that Hunter Vassar tried to put in his pictures? What else did he try to do? Faces. Maybe we could try to hide some faces in some of these.
Guys, why don't we work in pairs? Okay, so we're going to do reds and greens then, yeah? Who wants to do the reds?
Initially, they were all individuals, so they've all made their own little part. But now, in this second lesson, they're working as teams, trying to work out how to join the things together. And I'm not giving them any rules, they've got to work it out themselves. So that's quite difficult sometimes to let go, to see what they come up with. But it seems to be coming together. They do look a little bit joined. like a tassely belt, I like that.
You could like tie two, and then the strings that have tied them both together could meet, and then it could go into one string that's hanging from one of them.
Well, what we'll try to do before the fashion show is try that out and see if it hangs well and if it's secure. That's working quite well. So now, who was weaving this one to get this square there? Because that worked really well. That's almost like a piece of armour, isn't it? Except for what's wrong with these two here?
Yeah, they went a bit wrong.
So what's it like designing for the real world of fashion?
I love the fashion industry because it gives you the chance to be creative and do something new, and your source can just be literally what's going on around you. You don't have to sort of go to far-flung corners of the world. You can just look out the window and come up with ideas just from people walking by.
You can be a designer, a pattern cutter, you could be a manager in a store, you could work at head office, you could do graphic design, any website, customer service. There's definitely a lot out there, and you don't just have to do the design parts.
Well, it's great fun. That sense of kind of overwhelming activity and creative expression is really why you do it. That's why it's such a great career to have.
Fashion and music always go hand in hand. Do you agree? Yeah? No? Hands up if you think you agree. Do you agree? Don't agree? 50-50. OK, well, let's test this theory. I've got some, not pictures, but I've got some things of people dressed in certain ways. I want you to look at them and tell me what you think the music is. Some of you may recognise these outfits from your English lessons. Where's our first model come from?
The Tudor times.
Tudor, Elizabethan, the Tudor times. Brilliant. Have a think and describe what sort of music would this person be listening to?
Something that they could like dance to, or something that would use different percussion instruments.
OK, so something with fiddles, something quite classical. Nice courtly style dancing. Next, what else do we have in my cupboard of mysteries? Now, quite different. Very different.
Punk.
Punk music. Let's go for it. Mosh it, go on. This is September and we're doing some punk dancing. It is loud. No.
Is it heavy metal?
Spot on. By having the models coming in, I think it gave the students a different level to the lesson. So it's not just looking at pictures, they've got to actually touch the mohawk here, which is really stiff and crusty. They've got to watch people actually moshing to the music, so really give a new dimension to the kids learning.
I made a pair of earrings that were 5 centimetres big, which is what these red ones here are. I've got a price for gold of £4.50. How am I going to work out the whole price of those earrings?
In maths, students have a choice of activities across the week. Crocheting, making glasses and hats, or earrings.
We had the emerald and silver, and then we did our price cost, and we made them
as well.
Yeah.
We thought we wanted to be quite big and quite not too colourful, like every colour, because that'll look a bit over the top, kind of. And we like the colour green and silver, so I thought that'd be a really good idea.
How do we work out the price of the earring? What do we do to get the cost of it?
Times that by 5.
OK, which we've got an answer for already, which is £2,250. All right?
The links I was looking for with the earrings project was to look at finance as well as the creativity of it, to let them use their imagination, let it really run wild, but to also find out how much it would cost and why the jewellery they have is quite so expensive.
We were doing a design of an ice cream, and we're doing like a triangle at the bottom and then a bigger triangle, and then like measuring it all. So we've got like a blue bottom, then a silver glass.
Mint flavour
ice cream.
and then coffee, and then a cherry on top.
Currently, like 1 carat of an emerald is £6,000. So, and we're using like a whole rectangle of it, so it's going to be quite expensive.
It's so much fun because I'm rubbish at maths and I don't know what anything because I don't listen in class because I don't know what I do. But I think I'm doing more than I probably would have done because it's like fashion.
3, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Whoa, that's quite a lot of money.
That's good.
They're actually measuring and using averages, okay? So they're thinking about what shapes they need to make hats and sunglasses out of. They need to, in the first lesson we did some measuring. They took some averages of the average size head of a year 7 so that they can fit anyone. And they're putting them all together in their team colours so that they can show them off at Friday's fashion show.
While I was at school, I was really interested in geometry, which basically, obviously, is pattern work. And I didn't realise until I started to do pattern work how similar it was. Basically, a man or a woman is basically a 3-dimensional shape. So once you can cut a pattern of a cube, you're just changing that into more of a complex pattern. And it's funny that now I use geometry all the time in my life.
You are part of a very select group who've chosen to have a go at some crocheting. We're going to have a look at how it's linked to maths. We're going to try and have a go at doing some crocheting. You can see a shape on there. Now that's crocheted. What does it look like? Hands up, what do you think it looks like? Go on, Emily. Coral, yes, it looks like coral. We've got lots of pictures of coral. All of this is crocheted. This is something that's called hyperbolic space, okay? And that means it can't be flattened out and it's all crinkly. And the only way that we can make hyperbolic space is by crocheting.
I'm going to give this to my nan for her birthday. It's her birthday in a couple of months. It's pretty good, actually.
I think all of the kids that had a go at crocheting came away having learnt something new, and we're trying to instill in them a sense of wanting to learn. So that in itself has been a success. I think they really enjoyed it, and they really enjoyed, I think, just even putting the idea in their head that stuff can be linked, that crafts can be linked to maths, which can be linked to other things. I think even that was sort of good enough.
In crocheting, it's like the hyperbolic space, and it's amazing how crocheting is the only thing that you can't lay flat totally, and I think that's really fantastic.
I think the most surprising thing has been in maths doing the earrings. I would have thought that'd have been more like making hats and measuring the area of them and putting them on. So I'm quite pleased with the earrings.
I think it's special because it's off curriculum and it's learning about what we need to learn for life.
About 3% of our household waste is textile. So what our plan was to do some designs, reuse some fabrics, and recreate something amazing for Fashion Week.
In technology, pupils are designing outfits for the catwalk.
We're making this T-shirt, and we're going to sew that bit onto there.
So it's like a logo.
And then we're going to sew this grey onto the white.
So we're changing clothes and using old things, and we're making a new thing out of them so they don't go to waste.
And then we're going to extend the sleeves with the legs of this jeans.
We're making newspaper shoes. I'm trying to make a hat, but it's not going very well because the socks are very thin and worn.
We don't usually do this sort of thing at school, and so it's really fun. I'm really excited for each lesson.
The idea is that they're working in teams and they're problem solving in a sort of a context that's not as restrained as the curriculum. So they're just getting on with it. They're really inspired, and I haven't really had to prompt them too much. They've just been going for it and bringing bits and pieces in and being very resourceful. I want them to have a really memorable day, or memorable week really, the Fashion Week, and say that they've been able to work with students that perhaps they hadn't normally, spoken to, and they really enjoyed their technology lessons, and hopefully they may see that they would do that at KS3. Right, Bertie, talk us through your design.
Sewing took too long, so I just stapled it.
You've gone for a faster option there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, is your model likely to have their hair tangled up there, or...?
I'm not sure.
Let's have a look. That's cool. You assure me you've washed them first, yeah?
We have put a feather onto the hat
and had it nicely padding so it's easy and very nicely to put on. And with this, you can also, if you don't want to wear it, you can take it off.
Our shoes are outside.
Shoes are outside. Okay. Painted shoes. Oh, they're very bright, aren't they?
Yeah, they're luminous.
So all these ties were acquired from your dad, yeah? And he knows about this?
Yeah.
Good, that's really good. Have you been stitching all of those in place then?
Yeah, I'm just doing it roughly because then I'm going to stitch it properly up.
I can see you going on to great things in the future with this. It's fantastic. Well done.
The designers here have a wonderful job because they're allowed complete creative freedom, from research, which takes them to libraries, to shops, to museums, to galleries. Perhaps some research ideas that they've got from the library in terms of older techniques that we could use again and recreate for modern brands.
Sketching a design for a ruff in our book.
It's English again. Having researched Elizabethan fashion, students are designing their own ruffs.
So this is a very pointy design, isn't it? It is a bit like a peacock's tail. But you could, if you think you're going to cut it like that, you could have it rounded, you could put circles in, or you could just round the top and then colour it. But to be honest with you, it's your design, and it's sort of an interpretation of Elizabethan fashion.
We either have the 007 theme or Big Brother.
Interesting take.
The Big Brother's going to be like a big eye, and maybe
interesting.
he's watching you or something. Yeah. and James Bond, there might be two kind of guns kissing.
I was a bit concerned when they first started talking about their ideas that maybe we were moving too far away from the original theme that we started with. But I actually think that that's what made it exciting, was that they probably had been influenced by other ideas in other subjects that they've done this week on fashion, and they were probably bringing a lot of their thoughts and ideas from the other subjects into my subject.
These are my recycled plastic bottle trousers. That is what they are made out of. I know you're looking at them going, not, but yet I bought these and they are made out 100% recycled plastic bottles, and I love the idea of that.
In RE, students are looking at ethics in fashion. They've each brought in a favourite piece of clothing.
I'm not sure what it's made out of. It's definitely not recycled at all.
Ellen at the back there, when we talked about her item of clothing, she kind of wanted to know about the sequins on her top and where they got the sequins from. And my question to her is also about, well, how did they get that on? Was it a machine, or has someone sat and stitched those things on? That leads us into child labour.
From the individual lesson, I'd hope that they take away the idea that when they're buying their clothing, they might think about where they're getting it from, or even make a step back. I know I'm not going to change the world with how they do things, but even if it is simple things like kind of buying even a fair trade item of food or anything like that, so thinking about where things come from.
Fashion Week's been really fun. I like making and designing all the different clothes and accessories.
I've most enjoyed when we, in tech, when we were changing our clothes, when we were bringing in some clothes that we weren't using anymore, and we made lots of clothes into one suit thing, and we're showing that we need to recycle stuff.
Why might we use different materials for different clothes? Yes.
We went swimming and we went, and the swimming costume was made of wool. It would be very heavy and we'd probably drown.
OK, so let's imagine if we're using them for example, oven gloves. Would I want something that sets a fire very, very quickly? Is that a sensible plan? Not really, is it? If I'm putting my oven gloves into an oven that's very, very hot and might have a flame at the back if it's a gas one, I don't want oven gloves that are going to burn in seconds, do I? I want nice, safe oven gloves that don't set lights. I want you to record how long it takes for different materials to burn.
Awesome. Is it meant to be? Wow. Take it out, Frank. Onto here. No, put it down, put it down, put it down. Oh, wicked.
Ready? I think this one
shrivels up very quickly, not very flammable. If you look close up at the denim, it's white and blue checked.
It's been better in the actual science. It's better than writing things down and stuff like that. It's just seeing what clothes are actually really like.
On a day-to-day basis, they probably have no idea why their shirts are made of different materials to their jumpers. And they've just, if you ask them, I'm sure they'd work it out, but actually they've probably never even really thought about it. So it's good to make them think about, how does denim burn differently to this? You know, what would happen if actually my clothes caught fire, and show them nylon burning, because it's very, very quick and actually quite scary that it suddenly turns into a liquid. It's really nice to know that they're going to go off and they're going to be thinking about what I've taught them, sitting in the hall watching a fashion show, and what we've just done is going to be going through their head.
It's the day of the fashion show. Clothes, accessories and even the catwalk music have all been created by Year 7. But it's not only the students that gain from the week.
It gives us the chance of maybe to teach something that we're quite passionate about or that we have an interest in, but putting our own understanding and our own subject onto a different twist. But also it makes it interesting for them, but actually teachers get quite enthusiastic about teaching it themselves.
I hope they've realised that there are links in the curriculum. I hope they've realised that fashion, along with everything else, covers every area that they do, and I hope that they're smiling and they've enjoyed themselves.
I've had a really good week. I thought it was going to be much worse, but it's so much better than I thought it would be.
I thought it was great fun doing all the making, and it'll be quite good to have it again. I've really enjoyed this week. I love making all the different clothes and accessories.
I think fashion is much wider than people think it is, and I do enjoy it much more, and I do think it has a sense to it.
It's made me think about how fashion is linked more to other things, not just wearing clothes and walking down a catwalk and things like that.
I'm feeling really proud of them. I think they've done some amazing things in music. Some of the things they've created in tech and art and maths are just fantastic. So we've got some really talented kids. I'm really, really proud of them.
Does it look okay? And it was quite nerve-wracking, but it was good once you got out there.
So impressed and so amazed by the level of, or the standard of what the students did and what they produced. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was really, really good. The music and all the clothes and accessories were really amazing.